Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Star Trek The Q Conflict, issue number 2. There was a whole lot of awesome in this comic book. The problem is, there were some things that weren't so great. We're going to get into all of that. So, the Tiptons, Scott and David, did the writing in this book. The pencils, David Messina. Elisabetta D'Amico did the inks. Here's where I butcher her name. Colors by Alessandra Alexakis. I did the best I could. Art assist by Carola Borelli, and Neil Uyatake did the letters. So, bang. This is 4 different teams being made up. With the 4 captains are, of course, the captains of the team, but they're going to have their own superstars. And you can see right there in the previews who's on which team. They go horizontal, all right? Man, these are really interesting teams. Case in point, Picard's team is clearly the superstars. They are clearly the superstars. There is not a single wasted person on that team. Every single person there is a big name heavy hitter who like individually, each one of those people can hold down a book all on their own, right? You got a bunch of no-name, and it looks like Kirk's team is the absolute worst. You know what I'm saying? Kirk's team, like, he's got a bunch of people there. It's like, dude, you and 2 other people from that team couldn't make like you got Worf and O'Brien on that team, where it's like, dude, come on, man. Like, you 2 were both in 2 different TV series and in movies, and you still kind of sucked. Sorry. Like, you were fairly useless characters. Worf looked cool, but let's be realistic. Name one fight that Worf ever won. Yeah, for the biggest, toughest SOB on your freaking TV show, name one fight he won. And then once he crossed over to from Next Generation to Deep Space Nine, Odo would own that dude in a fight. That's just facts, baby. That's facts. So yeah, dude, you got some fairly useless players on that team. Some no names. Some people are gonna look at it and be like, "What's that guy's name again?" Because Janeway's team looks to be the second best, however. But you put Picard and Spock on the same team, and you got heavy hitters like they got on the rest of that team. Oh, baby, you know who I'm voting for. You know who I'm rooting for, even though they're not the team that won in this particular foray. But it's cool the way that it worked. They had the chips stacked against them because of who was on Janeway's team. That was pretty cool. I dug it. Like, Riker is a badass mamma jamma, dude. That dude comes out of nowhere, and he's just like, yeah, I've memorized the prefixes to all the space shuttles on the Enterprise, including the captain's yacht. Like, he just... Damn, Riker. Wow. That was good. I like that. There's a whole bunch of good stuff on here. Not everybody had a chance to shine. In fact, nobody necessarily shined except for Riker. And it wasn't even like a glaring sunspot kind of, like a solar flare or anything. It was just like, boom, spotlight. Okay, move on. And everybody got a chance, for the most part, everybody got a chance to talk and to do something cool, What's cool about a storyline like this is this doesn't have to only go 4, 5, 6 issues. This could go 10, 12, 40 issues. As long as the individual tests that they do actually have some bearing on what's to come and what came previous. Damn, chocolate milk is killing me right now. As long as they have some bearing on what happened prior and after the individual stories, that's what's going to count for this kind of a story. When they win a test, it's because they got their hands on some kind of a device before everybody else did. Apparently you just have to touch it, and then a gate opens up and you get to go straight back and claim victory, what do you call it? The trick is, as long as they learn how to use these godlike devices, they can then use them for the rest of the adventures, all the other tests. So each time you win, you clearly have a greater and greater advantage as time goes on. All that's going to come into play later, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how these objects come into play later, like canceling each other out, trumping each other. Like, this could just be the greatest storyline in comics ever written. Here's the problem, and this is the one rude thing I'm going to say about this, and I love the Tiptons. I love the Tiptons. These guys are, like, for when it comes to Star Trek, at the very least, they write their asses off for Star Trek, dude. But in this one, it feels like most of what they wrote were notes to Dave Messina, the artist. It's like, okay, draw that this is happening. The problem is there's no notes. There's no not notes. There's no like narrator's box or nobody's speaking out loud what they're doing. There's no thought bubbles in anywhere in this comic book. It's like everything is just a speech bubble. Everything is talking, which I understand. You have a lot of people in this comic book, a whole lot of names and faces, and all of them, for the most part, should be, mentioned, should have their chance to shine. The problem is there's certain things in here, like when Riker goes to, shut the door on Kirk and his team coming in, like there's no words spoken. At one point when they start lasering them, using their phasers to get through, it's like, Kirk's really persistent. Well, duh, what do you think he's going to do? I don't care if you're a Jedi with a lightsaber, you're still going to try and bust through the door. Just look at the movies that we watch, especially the prequels. But I mean, like, come on, man. Duh, they're going to do that stuff. But it's like, what was so special about closing the door? Did he lock the door? He must have locked the door. But like all of that stuff that you got to try and like figure out. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal. But the problem is it happens a lot in this comic book where there's only speech bubbles, no narrator's boxes, no thought bubbles, just speech bubbles. And unfortunately, there are a lot of times when there are no speech bubbles, when it's just a panel where it's just the art and you're trying to figure all this stuff out. And it's like there's too much input already coming in from this comic book. Already too much. Like, what does this device even do? You know what I'm saying? Why did Riker's thing work? What exactly was it that Riker necessarily did? Like, it looked like he crippled the ship somehow. That's cool. How do you explain the other two ships? What? Worf's, the ship that Worf was on, Kirk's ship, was just archaic, you know what I'm saying? But what about Cisco's ship? What did you do with that one? I don't understand. Because it's like notes to the artist, and the artist's like, ain't but so much I could draw, dude. I can't draw the actual interference going. I can just draw like squiggly lines showing an electrical short circuit or something like that. What do you want from me, brah? So, like seriously, what? What am I looking at here? There's a whole lot of that going on. Like, conveniently, once they get their hands on the Iconics device or whatever, they get ready to leave, and it's like, oh, look, that's convenient. And you just have to figure out that it's a portal that goes straight to Q's location and whatnot. I get the feeling I know how all this is going to end also. I feel like anytime that you're gathering a whole bunch of godlike MacGuffins to bring to the godlike being is usually just going to use all these things to beat up the other guys around there, but he's going to wind up being thwarted at the end. And I'd actually be okay if that's what's going to happen. It's just, it seems like it's really predictable because that's how all these stories are written in the first place. I hope it's going to be something entirely different, and I hope that it has a lot more to do with the individuals here, because you've got every single captain besides, like, what do you call it? You got the four major captains up in here, and unfortunately, I know Janeway's crew never got made into a movie, and that's a crying shame, because at least one movie. They deserved at least one movie. Minimum. They deserved that. But whatever, man, I get it. And you got people like the guy playing Chakotay didn't really want to, he made fun of the TV show after he left. Like, just GTFO, dude. You're gone. You're done. Like, that guy should never, like, his character should never get anything special in this book. But anyway, it was a really fun book. But like I said, there is that shortcoming of too many notes to the artist, not enough notes to, the readers, us, me. So, yeah, there's that. Either way, I think you're definitely going to enjoy the hell out of this. This was one hell of a good book, and I am anxiously awaiting the other ones. All right, and you could read this in trade paperback or individual, and I'm totally cool with individual. Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.